Thank you so much for hosting this wonderful event, and thank you all for coming. This is just the sort of day that Armand would love. Well, he wasn't there, so. I am standing in for Andy deLone, who's first on the program of speakers. Andy came down with a fever and a headache and a sore throat yesterday. He went in and got tested, but he won't know the results of that until Monday. So neither he nor his kids are able to attend this, much to their heartbreak. But he did send his notes about Armand, so I'm going to read these. Andy was one of Armand's great friends over a span of many years. So he's going to tell you a little bit about that. Do you know my story? A common Armand refrain. Armand was a storyteller. I heard him ask this question on a number of occasions. And he was a good storyteller, and his story, well, he had the goods to back it up. An amazing life. I'd like to tell you about a few short stories. Stories of things I witnessed or experienced with Armand, or that he told me. Maybe a year ago, he was in the hospital for a few days. As I approached his room, I heard him utter those words, "Do you know my story?" to an attending nurse. The look on her face was, "Hey man, I don't even know you." My arrival interrupted their moment, but when I returned a couple of days later, they hugged by the elevator. He told her his story. In the car, he told me her story at length and in detail. Armand told his story, but he wanted to hear your story as well, and he was a very good listener. At first, I knew Armand as Mr. Mednick, as my art teacher at Oak Lane, but soon I knew him better as the father of my best pal in grade school, Leo, a smart, master mimic, wickedly funny Leo. And as a kid, I spent a lot of time at his home. It was a loving home, always with music in the air, spirited conversation at the table, and delicious meals. Few 8 to 12-year-old kids ate such superb French-inspired cuisine then or ever in America. But for all that, there was tragedy in the house too. Anita's son. What? Oh, it's on the back. Okay. Anita's son from his first marriage, Andy, was in a horrific car accident that left him with severe brain damage. Later, often, Armand would speak of him with affection as a wonderful young man that he loved very much. One of the more profound acts I've ever witnessed was watching Armand picking up Andy, larger than Armand, in a bear hug, putting him in his wheelchair for dinner, lunch, or breakfast, or into and out of a bath. I thought then, and still do, that it was an act of love for Anita as well as for Andy. As a kid at Oak Lane Country Day School, I heard his story growing up during the Holocaust. It made a lifelong lasting impression on me, as I'm sure it did on most, if not all, of his students. I learned that he was a survivor, and later I realized what an apt descriptor the term was of him. It was only more recently, and I only mention this because I think he wanted me to, that he spoke of his survivor's guilt. He thought often about his grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, but just about every day he said he thought of his cousin Lily, a beautiful little girl who did not survive, perhaps because they were so close in age. After Anita died, I started dropping in and calling Armand. He was devastated, for as he put it, it was a love affair that started at a party at the shore and never ended. So I started dropping in to check on him. Soon thereafter, he invited me to play in his poker game instead of, sorry, I'm looking at two different things. Instead of checking in with him, my visits became regular dinners with him and his longtime friend, Jamie. That's me. Much to my surprise and delight, all three of us became close friends. The triumvirate, as he liked to call us. We planned and hosted parties together, traveled together, and continued having meals together. The last of which, 5 days or so before he died, on the back of the deck, on the back of Carol's house, the second great love of his life. These dinners had a format, delicious food, the best wines we could muster, often starting with champagne, dessert followed by cognac and cigars, along with conversations filled with laughter, debate, generosity, and love, or as Amon would say, we talked about the real shit. If you couldn't talk about the real shit, Armin would put on his white suit and relegate you to the pile labeled, not a serious person or lightweight. With Armand and Jamie, I found two great friends. Armand set the tone. I will miss my friend, our trips to the gym, our dinners with Jamie, but most of all, his intelligence, wit, and his story.